Hi, my name is Yasin Gulf, and you're with the weekly edition of my channel. As always, there will be three issues today. First, I will start with the negotiations between the United States and Russia regarding the war in Ukraine. Then I will move to a real estate, and we will finish with gold and the price of gold. But first, let me start with the negotiations. I think that everybody kind of have forgotten what this war between Russia and Ukraine is all about. Now we see in the negotiation something about territory, something about economic deals regarding gas, regarding oil, regarding rare earth minerals, and so on and so on. And somehow, probably, if you're not too deep into the whole story, that if the one, if Russia will get something and Ukraine will get something, and then the US and Europe and everybody will be happy and the war will be over. But, looking at the reasons for the start of this war will give you the key. And the key is the following. Russia doesn't want to have a strong Ukraine at its border. The reason is, if Ukraine is strong and prosperous, this will be a terrible, terrible sign for the Russian society. They will see that they are able to live much better, and this will destabilize the Russian society and the regime of Vladimir Putin. So that's why there were always plans, many plans, before the military conflict to destabilize Ukraine. And it was by supporting, of course, the Russian minority, corruption scandals, information campaign against Ukraine, and so on and so on. That's why, if the war is over and Ukraine will start to prosper, that will be terrible for Russia. Simply, they want to keep the situation unstable. This is the reason for Putin to ask for new elections in Ukraine and probably removing Zelensky, because he wants instability. Another question is, if there will be an elections, if there will be instability, and if Zelensky will win, or somebody actually being even more firm will take his place. But there is no way for somebody supporting Russia to win in Ukraine. This is all, trash talk with no any consequences for the future. That's why this is impossible. It's impossible to negotiate and think that you will give something to Russia, like you will say that Crimea is, you will recognize Crimea as part of Russia, an idea that was floated by the United States. This will do nothing. They want Ukraine to be destabilized. And if a situation after a ceasefire or a peace leads to the stabilization of Ukraine, this is no good for Russia. That's why they're in a tough spot right now. Also, because I have said that many times, because of the tariffs introduced by the administration of President Trump, right now the price of oil went down, especially the Urals type of oil that is produced by Russia. And when such types of oil like Brent are above $60 per barrel, the price for Urals is a little bit more than 50. 30% of the budget of Russia relies on revenue from oil and gas. And it has been calculated with a price of $70 per barrel. And now the price is a bit more than 50. So they're in a tough spot, and they are supported mainly economically by China. If the situation is the same right now and there is no change, they will be more and more dependent on China. And at the end, it will be like the same story when Trump is saying that he wants Canada to become the next state of the United States and to become part of the United States. It's happening already between China and Russia, because Russia is beginning to be more and more dependent on China for everything. So I'm not a big optimist about the negotiations. There were a lot of things actually that have been promised to the Trump administration for deals regarding gas. You heard about Nord Stream and starting it all over again. You probably heard about the interest in the gas pipeline going through Ukraine to Europe. And of course, looking at my country and Bulgaria and the neighboring Serbia, there are two refineries that are owned by Russian companies. The Bulgarian one is in Burgas on the Black Sea, and it's owned by Lukoil. It's in the process of being sold, but it's not sold because it's part of the whole negotiations between Russia and the United States. The same Gazprom owns the refinery and oil stations in Serbia, and they are under sanctions by the United States, and nothing is happening there. There was a time frame in which United States said that the refinery should be sold to another party, not Russian. But from then on, the sanctions are postponed by 30 days and 30 days and 30 days, and the refinery still is owned by Gazprom. So the situation is tough, and I don't see how this is going to be resolved soon.